Right now, as you read these words, more than 5,000 fighter jets are carving paths through the contested silence of the global stratosphere. To the casual observer, they are mere streaks of white vapor against an indifferent blue. But to the architects of national survival, they are the thin, jagged line between sovereignty and subjugation. We have entered an era where air superiority is no longer a luxury of the wealthy, it is the absolute prerequisite for existence. The year 2026 has become a crucible. In the Pacific, the shadow of over 200 stealth fighters looms over turquoise waters, challenging decades of undisputed dominance. In Eastern Europe, engines that defy the very laws of Newtonian physics scream across borders, testing the resolve of alliances. These are not merely machines. They are billions of dollars in research, decades of quiet engineering, desperation and the collective intellect of nations distilled into titanium and carbon fiber. We are witnessing a race where the finish line moves every hour. Some of these platforms can vanish from a radar screen, leaving a signature no larger than a golf ball. Others carry 30,000 pounds of silent death waiting for a digital whisper to be unleashed. This is the breakdown of the 5 platforms that hold the keys to the sky in 2026. Welcome to Jet Insight. What you are about to read is not a collection of theoretical specifications or marketing brochures. These rankings are forged from the cold reality of November 2025, production updates and operational data verified from the South China Sea to the jagged peaks of the Himalayas. We have looked past the polished canopies to analyze sensor fusion combat readiness and that intangible quality real-world effectiveness. We begin at number 5 with a machine that challenges the very notion of what a modern fighter must be. It is the Saab JAS-39 Gripen E. In the high-stakes poker game of international defense, Sweden has always played a unique hand. While the giants of the industry, the United States, Russia, China, poured unfathomable wealth into stealth and size, the engineers at Linköping focused on a different kind of lethality, survival through intelligence and agility. At $85 million per unit, the Gripen E is often dismissed by those who equate price with power. That is a mistake that could prove fatal in a theater of war. The Gripen E is a single-engine Predator that reaches Mach 2, but its true speed isn't measured in knots, it is measured in bits per second. It possesses an electronic warfare suite that is quite frankly terrifying to 4.5 generation rivals. Its AESA radar doesn't just look for the enemy, it breathes through the noise, jamming opposing systems, while simultaneously feeding a stream of crystalline data to an entire battle group. It is a node in a digital nervous system, a fighter that thinks faster than it flies. But beyond the software, there is the philosophy of the road base. Most modern fighters are divas. They require pristine miles-long runways, specialized climate-controlled hangars, and an army of technicians. The Gripen E was born for the apocalypse. It can land on a snow-covered highway in the Swedish wilderness. A small team of conscripts, not PhDs, can refuel and rearm it in under 10 minutes using nothing but mobile kits. In a conflict where primary air bases are the first targets to disappear under a rain of cruise missiles, the jet that can hide in a forest and strike from a country road is the only jet that stays in the fight. Brazil recognized this, activating a full squadron this year, valuing the freedom of technology transfer that Sweden offers, a flexibility rarely found in the restrictive corridors of Washington. The Gripen E is a testament to the idea that being invisible isn't the only way to survive. Sometimes being too smart to catch and too rugged to ground is enough. It punches well above its weight, a reminder that in the cold math of war, cost-effectiveness is a weapon of its own. However, as we move across the globe to Asia, we see what happens when that same drive for modernization is married to the dark art of invisibility. At number 4, we encounter the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon. There was a time not long ago when the idea of a Chinese stealth fighter was treated as a distant, perhaps even impossible prospect. That time has ended. The J-20 is no longer a prototype or a propaganda piece. With over 200 airframes currently in active service, it is a mass-produced reality that has fundamentally altered the strategic calculus of the Pacific. This is a massive aircraft 69 feet of aggressive geometry designed to slice through the air at Mach 2 while carrying its lethality hidden deep within its belly. Its existence is a direct challenge to the stealth monopoly once held by the West. For years, the J-20 was criticized for its reliance on Russian engines, a weakness that kept it tethered to foreign supply chains. But by 2025, the transition to the domestic WS-15 engine was complete. This wasn't just a mechanical upgrade, it was a declaration of independence. With the WS-15, the mighty Dragon has found its true voice, providing the thrust and reliability needed for sustained high-altitude dominance. Every day, these Dragons patrol the East and South China Seas. They are not merely flying circles, they are practicing the complex choreography of fifth-generation warfare in the same patches of sky occupied by American F-22s and F-35s. The pilots of the People's Liberation Army Air Force are no longer students, they are practitioners of an elite craft, gaining hours in a stealth cockpit at a rate that should give any Western commander pause. The J-20's sensor fusion is shrouded in secrecy, but its intent is clear. It carries the PL-15 missile, a long-range spear designed to strike from beyond the horizon, targeting the eyes and ears of the enemy tankers and AWACS planes. It doesn't need to win a dogfight if it can kill the battle support system from 60 miles away. Some debate its true radar cross-section, comparing it to a marble or a bird, but in the chaos of a modern electromagnetic environment, stealthy enough, combined with more than enough numbers, is a terrifying equation. China is building these jets faster than the US builds its own counterparts. The era of unchallenged American skies in Asia has vanished into the wake of the J-20. It is a foundation for a new generation, a springboard for the J-35 and the even more mysterious J-36 project. The mighty Dragon is a warning the gap is closed and the sky is getting crowded. Yet while China builds for the future, a European legend remains the gold standard for versatility. At number 3, we find the Dassault Rafale. This is a fighter that hasn't just been tested in simulators, it has been forged in the fires of nearly every major conflict of the last 2 decades. While other nations gambled on all-or-nothing stealth programs, France refined the Rafale into what they call an omni-role platform. It doesn't just do many things, it does everything with a Gallic flair for engineering excellence. The Rafale is a twin-engine masterpiece that carries its 20,000-pound payload, like a seasoned warrior carries a rucksack with a grim practiced ease. It can reach Mach 1.8, but its most impressive feat is super cruise at Mach 1.4. This allows it to hunt at supersonic speed without the ravenous fuel consumption of an afterburner, staying in the fight long after others are forced to head home. However, the Rafale's true shield is not stealthy paint, but the Spectra electronic warfare suite. Spectra is an invisible dome of digital protection. It doesn't just warn the pilot of a threat, it identifies it, prioritizes it, and jams it often before the pilot even realizes they've been targeted. In the skies over Libya, Afghanistan, Mali, Iraq and Syria, the Rafale has proven that electronic stealth can be just as effective as physical stealth. It can go through older air defenses, making the radar screens of adversaries flicker with ghosts and static. Its versatility is unmatched. From the carrier decks of the Charles de Gaulle to the thin, freezing air of Indian bases in the Himalayas, the Rafale adapts. It is a favorite of nations like India, Egypt and the UAE, who require a fighter that is ready to go to war tonight, not in 5 years after a dozen software patches. It integrates seamlessly with NATO networks, proving it can play the lead or a supporting role in a multinational strike package. It is the Swiss Army knife of the sky if that knife were made of high-grade aeronautical steel and could launch a Scalp cruise missile from 300 miles away. But as capable as the Rafale is, there is a ghost that haunts the dreams of every enemy pilot. A machine so specialized, so singular in its purpose, that it remains the benchmark against which all lethality is measured. We move to number 2, the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. To understand the F-22, you must understand that it was designed to do one thing to be the last thing an enemy pilot never sees. Since its entry into service in 2005, it has held the throne of air superiority with a cold iron grip. It is not an omni-role fighter, it does not care about being cost-effective, it exists to kill other aircraft, and it does so with a terrifying physics-defying grace. Powered by twin Pratt and Whitney F119 engines, the Raptor possesses a thrust-to-weight ratio that allows it to accelerate vertically like a rocket. It can supercruise at Mach 1.8 and hit a top speed of Mach 2.25, but its true magic lies in its thrust vectoring nozzles. These allow the F-22 to perform maneuvers that look like a glitch in a video game controlled flat spins, sudden stops in midair, and pointing the nose at a target, while the aircraft is moving in a completely different direction. In a dogfight, the Raptor doesn't just win, it humiliates. Yet most Raptor kills happen before a dogfight even begins. Its radar cross-section is reportedly the size of a metal marble. On a radar screen, it is indistinguishable from a stray bird, or a momentary sensor error. By the time an adversary's hardware realizes there is a threat, an AIM-120 AMRAAM has already left the Raptor's internal base. The United States Air Force treats the F-22 like a crown jewel. Only 187 were ever built, and each one is considered irreplaceable. They are the silver bullets kept for the most dangerous missions patrolling the frozen edges of Alaska to intercept Russian bombers, or loitering near the Taiwan Strait to deter aggression. It has no export version. The US Congress banned its sale to even the closest allies, fearing its technology was too potent to risk. It is a silent guardian, an undefeated predator that has never lost an air-to-air engagement in the history of its service. It is American engineering at its most arrogant and most brilliant. But as we look toward the future of 2026, the definition of best has shifted. The lone wolf, no matter how lethal, is being eclipsed by the pack leader. This brings us to the number one spot, the aircraft that has fundamentally changed the grammar of war. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The F-35 did not come to the party to outturn the F-22, it came to own the party. If the Raptor is a world-class assassin, the F-35 is the director of Central Intelligence. With over 1,000 units operating globally across 3 variants, A, B and C, it is the backbone of the democratic world's air power. It is the most connected, most aware and most influential machine ever to fly. The F-35 operates on a principle of sensor fusion. The pilot doesn't look at a radar screen, the pilot is the radar. Through a helmet-mounted display that costs more than a luxury home, the pilot can look through the floor of the jet, seeing the world in a 360-degree infrared and digital composite. The aircraft's computers take billions of data points from satellites, ground sensors, ships at sea and other jets, and distill them into a single intuitive picture. In a modern conflict, a single F-35 acts as the quarterback. It can fly deep into enemy territory, invisible to radar, and simply watch. It doesn't have to fire a shot to be lethal. It can guide a missile launched from a destroyer 100 miles away, or coordinate a strike from a flight of older F-16S that can't even see the target yet. It turns every other asset on the battlefield into a weapon. The F-35 comes in 3 flavors to suit every need. The F variant is the conventional powerhouse for the Air Force. The B is a technological marvel that can land vertically on a postage stamp-sized deck of an amphibious assault ship, giving small navies the power of a giant. The C is the heavy-duty carrier version built to withstand the brutal violence of a catapult launch and a wire-arrested landing. Critically, the F-35 is a living aircraft. Its hardware is impressive, but its software is its soul. Through constant Block 4 updates, the F-35s flying in 2026 are significantly more capable than those that rolled off the line 5 years ago. They are faster at processing threats, better at jamming new frequencies, and capable of carrying the latest Stormbreaker smart bombs that can hunt moving targets through fog and smoke. The F-35 has created a global club. From the UK to Japan, from Israel to Australia, the world's most advanced militaries have bet their futures on this platform. When they fly together, they form a web of data that no adversary can easily penetrate. An Israeli pilot's sensor data can feed a Norwegian pilot's weapon system in real time. It is the ultimate force multiplier. As we stand, in 2026, the F-35 Lightning II is more than just a jet. It is the standard. It is the proof that in the modern age, information is the deadliest weapon of all. The skies of 2026 are not just a vacuum of air and light. They are a high-speed chessboard where the pieces cost billions and the stakes are the lives of nations. Whether it is the rugged brilliance of the Gripen, the rising shadow of the J-20, the proven lethality of the Rafale, the supreme grace of the Raptor, or the digital dominance of the Lightning II, these machines define our era. They remind us that peace is often maintained by the terrifying capability of those who stand ready to break it. As technology continues to blur the line between human intuition and machine precision, we must ask ourselves, in a world of invisible predators and digital gods, what is the value of the person in the cockpit?